Hi guys, very good morning to you. Welcome to the video number 275 and welcome to the YouTube channel as well. YouTube channel where you can come and watch 275 videos on Excel VBA, MS Access and Access VBA. This video channel is dedicated to all those who are working extensively on the Excel or the Access and they need to learn the VBA, they need to learn the basic Excel, advanced Excel. I have covered all the things for you, right? So in this video now I'm going to actually tell you that how you can actually use the loops with the VLOOKUP function in the VBA, right? Because I have received actually two comments, one recently and the other one was quite I really don't remember, but it was a long time back. So now let me show you exactly what we need to do. But before I do that, this is the comment actually which George had written. Hello, what if the range is dynamic? How that will work? So I though reverted, but now I would like to record the video as well, and I would like to show it, show you all, show everybody practically how it is possible. So basically there is a video called as you can see here, might be I may not be able to zoom out it, but this is a video number 237, how to use the VLOOKUP in the VBA, right? But then guys, you really don't have to search the videos by the numbers. You can simply go to the playlist on my channel and you will find out all these different categories: Excel VBA events, Excel VBA introduction series, access macro. So once you scroll it down, you would find these all function videos in the playlist called Excel VBA functions. So if I just scroll it down, maybe if I would like to show you, then possibly somewhere here you can see that. Okay, maybe I'm not able to find it out. That's the video on the loops, right? If you go ahead and if you watch this, you will understand how we make the loops, and we have the basic, intermediate, advanced, all the levels of the videos here. So for the beginners, for the advanced users, everything I have gotten for you. This is the video I was talking about. When you click on this the playlist, you will have the 12 different videos where we have talked about the different functions. Like you can see that left, right, INSTR reverse, then VLOOKUP, challenging using the array. So these are all the advanced actually the videos. And at the same time, if you are looking for some basic videos, you need to get the understanding, just go ahead and watch this video. Basics of VBA function, right? So these are the date. As somebody asked me recently also, there is another comment actually I received from Mr. Rachum, and he actually wanted to see that how to convert the dates into months. So Mr. Chum, if you're watching this video, then as I explained, as I reverted you also, you can actually go ahead and you can see these videos, like you see date difference, date add and date part, all these in the this video called VBA date functions. So you'll get everything, right? Thanks by the way for writing. And this is a video on the VLOOKUP function which I have uploaded I think last month, where I talked about the VBA, how to use it in the VBA. So this video is for those who wants to understand how to actually run the VLOOKUP in a very dynamic mode. Now I have guys just prepared a dummy data, and you can see here we have the employee ID, name, code and age and the status, and on the another sheet I've got here a blank table and I want to now find out the employee ID's name, code, age and status using the VBA, of course. So in this video absolutely I'm not going to talk about how to work with the VLOOKUP. Even I'm not going to talk about that how to work with the VLOOKUP when it comes to the programming, when it comes to the VBA, how to use it in the VBA, because I have already covered that as I shown you in those videos. So you can go ahead and watch that. This is only for those people who know the loops and who know the who have the good idea of the loops and who have the good idea of the VLOOKUP, right? So let's go ahead and let's start this. How we're going to do that as you asked. So now you see the thing is here as you know, in the VLOOKUP we first of all would like to run a loop which go in the downward direction and covers all these employee IDs, right? And then the second thing is across the columns we would like to also capture all this name, code and age and status. So we are going to use the two loops. One is that I'm going to run this loop 4 times, and each time it runs, it will run further these many times, these numbers. How many numbers we have? 1 2 3 4 5 6 times. So ultimately 4 by 6 makes it 24, and 24 times your loop is going to run, right? And that's quite easy. It's really not a big science, it's very easy. So let's go to the Visual Basic and let me insert the module here. I will share the links of this VBA function in the end of the video so that you can directly go there. So no worries at all. So loop with VLOOKUP. This is really going to be very exciting, and this will give you a very good idea that how powerful loops can be. So the first thing, guys, what I'm telling you, see, if I have to do it manually, what will I do? I simply use the VLOOKUP. I pick up this lookup value, which is called the employee ID, and then I go in this sheet, right, which is my database, and I select this database and I say that the column number is 2 because I want the name, and the name in this column is 2, right? You know the VLOOKUP, it's very easy. Now what happens when you're going to drag this formula here? How many times basically you got to drag it? Obviously based on your headers. How many headers you have? You have 4 headers, right? So that means here the loop should run 4 times, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to declare here, let's say dim, and I'm going to declare here a variable called for columns as long, okay? And then what I'm going to do, dim, beg your pardon, for, we are going to run the loop. So I will simply write for equals to 1 to, how many times you want to run? You want to run 4 times, right? So this is first thing, okay? Next, this is your loop. Now this means that the loop is going to run 4 times. Now each time it runs, basically what my plan is to first drag this formula down and then go to the the code, and then again drag it down, and then go to the age, and then again drag it down. So what we need to do is we need to further write one more loop which is going to run 1 2 3 4 5 6 times, okay? So what I will do, I will write here for I equals to 1 to 6 in the downward direction, we will run it, right? And then let's declare I as long on the top because we need it. Okay, so now this inner loop is going to, here we are going to write the VLOOKUP, okay? So let's go ahead. What is your target? What is your first cell which you want to target? So here I want to target E4, right? Now E4 comes on the, as you know, 4th row, and it's on the 5th column, right? So I'm going to write here cells and 5 and 4, because here this is you're going to be the lookup value. Now obviously I don't need the 5 because next time I want 300 400 845, so the row should increment. So rather than that, I will create a variable. So let's create a variable, r is long, okay? All right, and for the column also, let's create a column C, and let's declare the column here. So we're going to write here C as long, okay? Now R should start with, as you know, as per my table, it should start with 4, and in the same line just put this colon, not a semicolon. Use the shift key. You can write all the variables, you can allocate the values in just single line just to avoid the space, otherwise you can press enter and you can write it, right? That's all up to you. Okay, so the column has to be 5. All right, so this means that I'm going to use the VLOOKUP on the 4th row and the 5th column. Very nice, which is going to be obviously, you know, E4, right? Okay, now worksheet function, I have explained this in that VLOOKUP video. VLOOKUP, this is how you write. What is the first parameter, guys? Well, the first parameter is you got to select this value, which is 100. Now how are you going to select that? Obviously 100 is also on the same row, right, where we are trying to find out the this name. So the row will remain same, but the column will change. So what we can do, we can write here cells, because we will need to look up this value. Which value? The value which is on the row number, which is R, which will be 4, obviously, because name is also on the same row, and the column would be 4. So I don't have to create another variable for this, because you know in the lookup value, every time when you drag the formula in the downward direction, it will always be the column number 4, because in the column number 4, which is your column number D, you have your employee IDs, right? So this is going to be your value lookup. Let's press the comma. Argument 2. Now argument 2, if you remember, it's your table, right? So how are you going to write the table? So table, I will write it by going to that sheet, which is sheet 3. That's my sheet name. If you remember, when I was using the VLOOKUP manually, you know, I went to that sheet, and from there it has to be range. I don't remember the range, but let's just assume that it has to be 15. We will change this. Argument 3. Now what is the argument 3? Now guys, argument 3 means which column number do you want. Now name is on the second column, if you remember. Let me show you here. First of all, the column is B22 F8. So let me correct that, B22 F8. All right, there we go. Now you know that the column number has to be 2, because we need the employee name, right? And then next time it has to be 3 and then 4 and so on, right? So the column number, what I will do, because I have to change this column number again and again, I'll write here simply CUL-NUM, and for the exact match I write 0, and that's it. And we have to declare the column number as well, so let me declare everything in one line as long. And so again colon, and column number should start with what? So the column number should start with equals to 2, right? Okay, so now when you're going to run this loop, let's see how the things are going to happen. Okay, so let's just go ahead and put a little up so that we can have a more space. I don't need this, let me, yeah, that's fine. And let me decrease some space from here as well so that I can shrink the sheet, and you can also see how the things are going to happen. Okay, there we go, pretty cool. And alright, now let's go ahead and run this. So I'm going to run this while I'm on the sheet 4. Okay, so there we go. So let me run this. There we go, everything's done. Now this is the first time the bigger loop is running, so first time we are going to run, and this first time we're going to work 6 times. We're going to run the loop further 6 times. So now what is the value in the C, R and C? Now you can see that R is 4 and the C is 5. That means I'm exactly on E4. Okay, so in the E4 what we need to evaluate, we need to look up this value, which is again 4 by 4, 4, which means I'm on the 4th row and the 4th column, which is 100. 100 is going to look up in this table, and we will have the column number 2, which has to be the name. So let me just press F8, and there we go. You can see the background, right? The next, now what is the next? The next is that I is going to be 2. So I is going to be 2. Then next time this R actually should increment, right? But I think we haven't incremented it. So what will happen when I run this, you see that nothing will happen, because every time this same thing keeps coming in, because you're not changing the value. So if you look at, if you just select this entire code, and if you put the watch on this, see what happens. Basically you're looking up not exactly this value. Let me delete that. We are actually trying to find it out, this value. Okay, so let me, the watch code on this, let me drag it and put it here. Yeah, you see that every time I run this loop, what's wrong with this code? Because every time this 100 is coming, so 100 is coming, so obviously every time the 100 would come, and you will have the same value. So what we need to do, whenever the VLOOKUP happens, we should go to the next row, as I was telling you, right? So I'm going to write R equals to R plus 1. Okay, you don't need any changes anywhere, I believe. That's it, R equals to R1, and let me reset the code and let's run it again. There we go. Okay, and by the way, let me also delete this. Okay, now let's run this. Okay, you got the A, you are on the next row. Now please have your eyes on this value point, because right now it is changed to 300, right? 300, why? Because now the next is 300, so 300 is going to look up, and you see that I got the B, right? Because row is incrementing, right? So this cell is also incrementing. Now the next time when you come here, it's on the 6th row and the column is 5. 6th row and the 5th column, what does that mean? Obviously that means you are going to talk about the E6 cell. Okay, so in this way you see the loop is going to run. Perfect. Now it is finished. It goes in the bigger loop, which is this next, which is this for column. Let me just put some space here. Right now, the next time when the column runs, when the loop runs, you see this for underscore call is going to be equals to 2. That means I'm now going to run this loop second time, the bigger loop, right? For the code actually, right? That's why I've written. But the point is, when you're out of this inner loop, you have to start from the row number called 4. So right now your R is actually 10. So that means it is going to start from the 10. So if you run this loop, everything will be messed up. You see that it says unable to get the VLOOKUP property, simply because of the reason that these values we need to convert it back. So once your inner loop is finished, then in this next, which is the bigger next, this is the bigger next, what you need to do is you need to come back to the row number called 4, right? Because I should be on the code now, because name column is filled. So to go to this, I need r equals to 4, and at the same time, very important line, the column number, this VLOOKUP index, it has to be again incremented, and it has to be +1, because next time you need the code, right? Now when you need the code, obviously guys, this is what exactly, you know, I'm talking about, the third column number, right? And what else we need? I guess this C is also, you're supposed to change this, because when you start, then the C is going to be 5, right? Because you started it from the C equals to 5, you can see this, but the next time the code is on the column number F, so the column has to be changed, so C has to be changed basically. So C should be equals to what? C plus 1, right? Now if I run this again, let me show you. Let's just delete this everything, and now let's run this. Okay, there we go. So we are starting it. As you can see, 100 is the value which we are going to look up in the table B2 to F8, and the column number has to be 2, which is a column for the name. So this is going to quickly run. Let me run this. Done. Now we would like to come back to the row number 4. The column number, which right now is 2, it is going to be incremented by 3. So the next time this column number should be 3, because we need the code. Okay, then C equals to C plus 1. Now C is right now, you see 5. 5 means that I'm on the E column, but now I want to be on the F column to use my VLOOKUP. So that's why I'm incrementing it. So now the next time when you run, okay, now next time when you run, you are again back on the 100. So 100 is going to be lookup. This is the 100. This cell r comma 4 dot value equals to 100. 100, it's looking up in the table B2 to F8, which is in the sheet 3, and it is going to fetch the information from the column number 3. So I should see here a code number. Wow, amazing. Now again, we will increment the row number. So if I run this quickly, you see that I got here everything. Similarly, again, I'm, you know, coming back to the row number 4, because I have to be on the H, and to start with the H, I got to be on the 4th row, and at the same time the column should be 6. So that's why I'm incrementing this C equals to C plus 1, and this, of course, this column number index as well, because for the H we need to be on the 4th column, right? So in this way, guys, if I run this quickly, you see that it's gonna work. So this is the last time it is working, because you know the value of the for underscore call equals to 4, and we have said that it has to run 4 times. So ends up all set. Very simple, right? Now, you know, if you have seen my very basic videos on the loops, then this can be very easily, you know, we can make it dynamic. What you can do is, instead of 4, because you may have some more headers every time, you know, so what you can do is you can simply write here range, and then you can start from the, you know, the row number. Basically, what is your cell? So what I want to do is, I want to go to the last cell, except T3, and I would like to use the shortcut key called control left arrow. This will take me to the last column. So how I'm going to write? I'm going to write except T3 and then Excel left, and I need the column number for that, right? That's it. This will make it dynamic. And similarly here, because I need the row number, so I'll start from the, let's say, 1 lakh, and I'll move up. Just a second, let me, yeah, Excel up and dot row. I have specifically talked about, you know, these functionalities in a lot of videos. So this makes my entire task dynamic. Now see what happens if I simply just remove this. Let's say I remove this, okay, and now one more thing I add here. Let's say I add here qualification, okay. So if I add the same thing here in the main database, this one, and let's say I add here graduate, postgraduate, NA, and let me simply write here, this is what exactly, you know, we have made the table. Now what do you need to do? Now the only thing which you need to do is in your VLOOKUP you have to increase your table, which is called the, right now it is going to be the G8, right? So you can write here G8 because your column has expanded. Or you can also do one thing, you can further go ahead and make this as well dynamic. That's all up to you guys, right? Because you can again capture the last column number, the column on which column you are, and you know, from there you can definitely go ahead and calculate the basically the column, you know, on which column you are. So that's very pretty simple. But I would just like to keep it you know, simple as G8. So let's now run the macro quickly. You know, everything is clear, so let's go ahead and run the macro. So I'm going to run this macro and let's see if we're going to get the values or not. So there we go. Let me run this quickly. All right, so there we have some problem, and the problem is it actually runs in a different direction. It first covered these points, and this is something I never wanted to do that, because we wanted to go in the downward direction. So let's see what is the problem, guys, right? This is very awesome. Now let's see why we are getting this problem. We will troubleshoot it. So first of all, let's run this. Okay, now what is this? This says 9. Oh yes, I got some point. Now you see this range xft3 dot end excel to left is giving me 9, right? Because of my stupidity. Because obviously when you're going to use the control, you know, the left arrow to go to the last value, which is this value, you will be on the I column. So I column means that, you know, it has to be obviously which column number? It has to be 9th column number. But you do, for your VLOOKUP table, it's not the 9th column. It's basically the column number called 6th, right? So how are we gonna adjust that? It's very simple. You know that you have 3 headers before this. So to, you know, level it with the Excel columns, we need to subtract -3 from it. So I'm just going to subtract -3 from it, and I hope now this time it should work. Similarly, guys, this is going to return you what? So if I put the just watch code on this, I add the watch to see that what value it is going to hold. Let me run the F8 now. This is again showing me the 1, right, which is wrong. Why? Because I'm starting from the A. I should have started from the column D, so that's my mistake, right? Because in the A is empty. So basically what I'm saying that go to this 1 lakh row and use the control up arrow to get the last value. So if I run this again, you see that it says 9. But for your VLOOKUP table, you don't have to run this 9 times. 9 is coming because you are obviously, when you're going to be all, let's say on this cell, 10 lakh cell, let's say, and use the control up arrow, it is going to take you to the 9th row because that's the last value, right? So we need to see that how many rows we have. We have 2 rows above this which are blank, right? So blank or whatever, but we need to subtract. So I'm going to subtract -2 from it, right? So this I think is going to balance everything. Let's just run the code. Let's have a look. So now we are going to run 9 minus 3 will make it 6. So that means the loop should run 6 times. So is it correct? 6 times we need it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We need it only 5 times because this has also, you know, included the employee ID, but I don't need the employee ID. I want to start from the name. So obviously I will further go ahead and subtract 4 from it, which means A column, B column, C column, and D column, right? And similarly, when I run the code again, and here I would see 9 minus 2 will make it 7. How many times you want to run this loop? 100, 300, 400. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you don't need to count the header. So that's why I'm simply going to keep it 3. Let's go ahead and let's run this. All right, there we go. It's working very nice. And let me quickly run this. As you can see, all right, so there we go, guys. Finish, and you have your qualifications, right? So now you can add anything. I think that's perfect. So if I quickly add here marks, let's say I want the marks here, and I go here and write the marks as well. Let's say anything. Let me just write some any number quickly, right? So when I'm going to run the VLOOKUP now, I just want to making sure that my table should get incremented, and I'm going to just, you know, gonna write here this H. So let's make it H, and that's it. So let's just run this macro quickly, and let me delete everything. And also let's quickly create the button here. Insert into the button, you go to the insert, and I'm going to just right click on this, assign macro, and there we go. Let me run this. Oh, wonderful. You see that it's actually working like a magic. They're very simple. Now I know you must be thinking one thing which actually is bothering me. You know what? Can we not make this table also dynamic? What is the need to, you know, every time you come here and, you know, you actually do this, which is keep on writing H8 and E8, you know, and as the table expands or shrinks, you know. So we can do one thing, I guess. Let's declare the variable here, isn't it? We can declare a variable and we can, you know, fix that variable. Or maybe for example, let me declare here one more header, which is called let's say adult. Okay, so I write here yes, 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 no, no, and yes. Okay, now instead of actually changing the VLOOKUP table in the VBA, I know that the last column is I. It's I actually, so I just write here I. Okay, you can ask your, you know, the person who's going to run the macro, you know, that come and write I here, or maybe in the sheet 4. That's all up to you how you want to actually do the things, right? So maybe I can write here I. This makes more sense. Or maybe because, you know, that's your table, so better you write here I. Okay, and you can give it a color called green, so that they should know that there is something here. Now the value is in the A1, which is I. So what we can do is to make it clean, I can declare one more variable, and that is to capture, or I simply write here that last column as string, because it is going to be string, right? Now the last call, okay, address, I would write address. That's much better. I'm going to write here sheet. In the sheet, don't forget to write the sheet name, otherwise it can capture any other sheet as well. So I'm going to write here sheet 3 dot range A1 dot value. This gives me I. Okay, so we have to change the last code here as well. So I'm going to write here address. Perfect. Okay, now when this is going to be run, this will have I, and then what I will do, I will copy this, and here look at this. Now this is very important. I know that the last row is 8, right? Further you can find out the last row. I leave it to you. Now you can concatenate, you know how to find the last row, right? I have uploaded the videos also, and I have just actually used this line as well, range D 1 lakh, you know, dot end Excel up. So you can use the last row from there, but that's not the focus. The important point is the column number. So I'm going to concatenate it with your variable called last address and further 8. Let's create the space here like this, and I guess that's what you need, and 8 is a number, so we can leave it like this. Yeah, I think that's fine. Now let's go ahead and run it. Let's see, guys. I got the adult here, and I'm going to add the adult header here as well, adult, and let's just run this, and I'm going to delete this. Let's see now if we are able to capture this or not. Okay, so I'm going to delete this. Let me run this. Variable not defined. All right, so which variable? There's some spelling mistakes, I believe. Yeah, it's actually double D. Let me reset the code. Let's run this again. Oh yeah, there we go, guys. Great, awesome, pretty awesome, right? Now further, if I just delete it, you know, delete the headers, let's say delete them. All right, now let me run this. Okay, so it's working, right? All right, let me delete this again. Now let me run this. You see that it's actually working. Perfect, right? So similarly, You can further go ahead, and if I just copy all the headers again, and let me just tell you one more thing. I know you must be expecting that, so let me cover this in this video only. But before I do that, let me write one more thing here. Let's say I'm going to write here the marks, let's say marks 2. Okay, so I'm going to write here this and this. Okay, and just select everything, make it the same font. Okay, now we have the marks 2 here, and I'm going to write here marks 2. Okay, and let me run this. Unable to get the VLOOKUP property. Oh yeah, you see that why we're getting error? Because of my mistake. This last call address is I, and I cannot go here because in the I value, when the VLOOKUP will work, it will create a problem here, because this, if you this will create a problem, because if you want to find the marks, it's in the L column, right? So as I said, you need to change the column number here. So I'm going to make it L. Okay, now let us run the code. So again, let me delete this and run the code. Oh, there we go. Pretty awesome, guys, right? You can further go ahead and put everything in the center alignment. Now many of you again would be thinking that what if you have a different headers? For example, right now my headers are exactly in the same way, like I have a name, code, age, status, marks, adult, marks 2, everything in the same order, and that's why the loop is working. But what if I, let's say, delete everything, and I make this, let's say, code, and I make this age, and I'm right here status, and I write here this word called qualification, and then here I write something else, let's say marks, and then marks 2, right? So we can, if I run this same thing again, you won't get the same answer. This is what exactly you will get. Why? Because you have given the numbering based on believing that your headers and the column headers are going in the same direction. If you are finding out the name, then it is also in the second column, and in your table also it is on the second column, which in this case is not the case. And this is how the practical situation comes, right? So we can do one thing, instead of because we need to automate the thing. So what you will do, you use the match function here. I've talked about this function a lot. You pick up the playlist called Excel VLOOKUP and match, and see that why we use the match in the VLOOKUP. It will make your life very easy. I have talked separately on the match function as well in the same playlist, right? See that how to use the match function. So match actually returns the column number. So I'm going to use this lookup value, look up this value in this table. That's the table and the exact match. We're going to simply close it. Now you got the 3. So what is the benefit? Now anytime you change the headers, you will have these column numbers coming accordingly, and that's what I need actually, right? So if I copy and drag it, now you see if I need the age here, this number is automatically going to change. If I need the name here, this is going to change. So everything is going to work in this way. Now in order to automate these, so we will refer them with the cells called in the code with these the green cells. So what you can do is, in that case, the column number which you have defined, guys, here 2, that is not going to work. Okay, so we will have to simply remove this line, because who knows from which column number we want to start. So I can remove this, because in this case, now as I said, if you need the age, you need the column number 4, because age is on the column number 4, right? So in this way, we will have to be dependent upon these column numbers. So what we can do is, in that case, we can simply do one thing. I'm going to give you a trick now. You see that you have got the 4, 2, 5, 6, 7 and everything. Now let's create, let's go here in this cell, in this code, and here instead of this column number, now what we need is, basically we need a cell which is on the fifth column and the 11th row. Okay, so I will write here cells and the fifth row and the column number. So for the column, I'm dependent actually on the column number, because column number is going to change one by one, right? But in this way I can write it. It will always be on the fifth row, that's for sure. And this column number again is going to be incremental, so we are already getting it incremented, right? So that means next time when you start here, sorry, I shouldn't have actually deleted that column number, so let me just declare it as long. And here in the column number, put the colon. So from where you want to start, the column number has to be, I believe, 5. Yeah, E column is the 5. Now please don't be confused. I'm not talking about this 4 column number. I'm talking about this E, right? If this E and this E, the row number 11 and the column number 5. So row number 11, it has to be 11. On the row number 11 and the column number 5, which would come from here, what is the value? It's the value called 4. So that is going to be used there. Next time when you are out of this loop, when you're going to finish up this and you go to the next column, what you want on the same row 11, you need the another column which is 6. So combination of 11th row and the 6th will make you fall on this cell which is called 2, F11, right? So that's why this column number is going to be used here. Okay, so I guess we are fine with this. We can run this code quickly. Let me just run this, and we can see we got the age, we got the name, we got the status, we got the qualification, absolutely everything. So good, guys. Why don't we go ahead and change the headers? Right now, let me make the name here. Let me please making sure that when you write these headers, the spellings has to be same, otherwise you will be in a problem, because match will give you the error. If I write here status like this, double T, obviously this will give you the error, because match will not be able to find this status and this header. So that's, again, you need to take care of that. So I write the status, okay, and I write here adult, and I write here marks 1. Now you see that I'm getting the error, obviously, because I think there is no actually marks 1, it's just marks. Yeah, there we go. I don't need this, let it be like this. Now time to run the macro again. Let me run this. Oh guys, this is wonderful. You see that you have done all the things, right? So this is how you make the VLOOKUP dynamic with the loops. A lot of work we have done and a lot of troubleshooting we have done, but this is how you learn the VBA programming. You can watch this video again and again, and if you have any questions, let me know about it. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, guys, as I always say, as I always request, please do subscribe and enjoy the channel, enjoy all the videos. I will be back. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for your time. Bye bye.